Finally for us here at 5:30 tonight, 3 new measures signed into law today to honor and support Holocaust survivors here in New York State. The governor said New Yorkers are united in our solemn commitment to those who endured unspeakable tragedy and, quote, we will never forget. One law ensures that state schools are teaching properly about the Holocaust. Another requires museums to acknowledge when they have art that was stolen from Jews during the Nazi era. And finally, a state agency will publish a list of banks that voluntarily waive fees for Holocaust reparation payments. Joining us live right now with some reaction to this is Rabbi Alex Lazarus-Klein with Congregation Shir Shalom. Rabbi, it's really great to have you on here. I want to ask you about kind of those specific bills that were signed into law today, but just wanted to start, kind of generally with your reaction to the fact that this got a lot of attention today at a time when we know anti-Semitic incidents are on the rise. There were more documented attacks on Jewish Americans last year than ever before. I think like a 34% increase from 2020 to 2021. So you contrast that with this action that we're seeing from state government that, by the way, was completely bipartisan. I looked up the votes in the assembly. All 3 of these passed without a single no vote. So what does that tell you?
First of all, I am delighted on behalf of our Jewish community, both here locally and throughout the state, to Kathy Hochul and all the legislators that made this possible. This is a symbolic but also practical and important measure that will really make a significant difference for our Jewish community, but for the whole community at large.
Specifically on this issue of teaching about the Holocaust in schools, there is sadly plenty of Holocaust denialism out there. This measure requires that the state education department basically kind of do a survey and go in and investigate and make sure that schools are following the law, because I think since like 1994, it's been regulated on how the Holocaust has to be taught in our schools in New York State. Do you worry that the education department is going to go and find that there are instances in which districts aren't teaching the true history?
I'm sure that there are districts that are not, and I'm sure it'll help to really do this measure to make sure that our children, I have 3 children in the Amherst district, and one of them that's entering high school. This will be part of her education, and also my son who's in middle school. And it really makes a difference. We have a wonderful Holocaust Resource Center here that sends survivors and survivor families into educated schools. And it really cuts off, it's not just about Holocaust education. Really what it's about is tolerance and making sure that the kids have empathy for one another and that there's not bullying. It really has a wide-ranging effect.
One of the other bills among the 3 requires that the state keep a list of banks and other financial institutions that are waiving the wire fees for Holocaust reparation payments. And I had no idea until I read this today as part of the announcement of this legislative package that 1/3 of Holocaust survivors in this country live in poverty. The goal here is, even if just by a little, to help ease that financial burden. And again, passed in the state assembly without a single no vote.
Yeah, I mean, I am so happy and proud to be a part of New York State right now. I can't say it has, as you said earlier, been a very difficult year with a lot of anti-Semitism, and our community has been on guard. But we know that the government is really doing whatever it can to make sure that our community feels safe, and that these survivors that really need this money and this extra protection from the banks, it will really make a difference for them.
And finally, sir, in this announcement as well, we learned, there are tens of thousands of Holocaust survivors in New York State, getting older in age. And so these measures are designed not just, it's not a small group of people feeling the impact of these things. And then, of course, there are impacts on all of us, right, on society writ large when we talk about some of these issues.
Well, we have, the Holocaust was 75 years or more ago. And certainly we have members of our community that are one that's 103 that witnessed Kristallnacht as an 18-year-old. And it is really, really important to support that community. These are our heroes, and they really are inspiring to our community and beyond.
Rabbi, it's really kind of you to share some of your evening with us, and great to get your perspective on this. We appreciate you coming on. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me on.